Really now, does anyone in America love his job more than Kirby? In this, the first season to open without a commissioner since the Black Sox scandal which created the office, it may be that these same people who do run baseball are figuring out that the game transcends any owner. They're addressing the game's lag time. And some are even trying to bring the union into the decision-making process to end 25 years of labor strife and focus the public's attention back to the artistry of a Will Clark swing or a Paul Molitor steal. Bart Giamatti once said that baseball was designed to break our hearts. As we begin this seasonal journey, we should remember that baseball is not about labor, but about a love of an art, performed on a hot August afternoon when nothing else matters but this game.
Stadium in Cincinnati, the traditional site of the National League opener. And again, the Cincinnati Reds do it for the 106th time, hosting today the Montreal Expos as ESPN's Major League Baseball for 1993 gets underway. Steve Zabriskie along with Larry Sorensen, and we welcome you to Cincinnati on an overcast and cool day where the new-look Reds, uniforms as well as faces, and the new-look Montreal Expos with a plethora of young talent open the 93 season. Here's the lineup for those Expos today. Delino DeShields leads it off. Moises Alou in left field batting second. Marquise Grissom, the center field, hits third. Larry Walker, right fielder, hitting fourth. Frank Bullock makes his major league debut at third base. John Vanderwall will be the first baseman. Will Cordero, the shortstop. Tim Laker will do the catching, the fourth different catcher on opening day in 4 years. And the veteran Dennis Martinez, one of the best right-handers in the National League, will be on the mound. And for the Reds, Jose Rio will do the starting chores on opening day, have that assignment. And Larry Sorensen, as we talked about these two teams, they're coming with different looks in more ways than one.
Veterans on the Cincinnati side, a team that has been through the pennant race. They have added a lot of depth, and they are veteran players that have come in to fill those spots. Jose Rio is what I consider a big game pitcher, Steve. You've seen his performances in the playoffs in the World Series. He loves the excitement around an opening day type situation. I look for him to have a good day.
Well, on the other side of the ball, while the Reds have the new uniforms, they've gone back to the sleeveless pinstripe look with the white caps. The Montreal Expos have a bunch of guys, and to borrow a phrase from the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, who are these guys?
Quite a few new faces. They have 7 rookies on their opening day lineup. The average length of service is 2 years and 50 days, so it's a young club for the Montreal Expos.
There has been a threat of rain, but there has been no rain, and it is a chilly, overcast, and a bit breezy afternoon. Nonetheless, this stadium is expected to be packed shortly as Reds fans come from all over the area. And opening day is a great tradition in this town, going back, of course, to the ballparks prior to Riverfront. Rio last year 15-10 with a 2.56 ERA.
44 in the last 3 years with Cincinnati. That's what enabled him to sign a new multi-year contract, and the Reds are all saying that he's very happy because of that contract. It had been weighing on his mind a little bit, and he'd been having some troubles in spring training. Now he's put it all behind him. He's a very happy-go-lucky young man. He needs to play without a lot of extra worries on his mind, and you'll see him laughing and joking around during the course of the ball game. Pitching coach Larry Rothschild said sometimes he has to come down on him a little bit to get him to stay serious and stay focused.
Well, he has so much ability that to have the freedom to go out there and just let it happen is a great blessing for someone with his talent. how he can excel. Talent is also a word you could apply to the lineup of the Montreal Expos. Experience may be missing, but there's a lot of ability, and Delino DeShields exemplifies that with 40+ stolen bases in each of his first 3 seasons in the big leagues. Jose pumping himself up. Veteran shortstop Barry Larkin anchoring the infield. And the speedster DeShields leads it off. Fouled away for strike 1.
Started him off with the hard slider. That's not fair. First game of the season, you're supposed to throw a fastball right down the middle.
1-1. Well, this is a kind of a day that would favor the pitchers from the standpoint of A, remaining fresh, and B, putting a few B's in the bats.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Slapped on the ground. Larkin retreats and backhands it, but his throw is not in time as well as offline. And I'd have to believe that it'll be an infield base hit for Delino DeShields.
This is the defense that we're going to see behind Jose Rio today. Kevin Mitchell over from Seattle in left field. Roberto Kelly. This is a guy that all the Reds players were talking about at the workout yesterday. Very impressive in spring training, and Reggie Sanders is in right. As solid an infield as you'll want to find, particularly on the left side with Larkin and Sabo. Look for Bipp to have a good year at second base this year.
Moises Alou, the hitter, with the Shields at first and nobody out, and Delino draws a throw. Shields was in fact credited with an infield base hit. Alou, in his brief career so far, has hit .324 against Cincinnati pitching.
Steve, the one thing that comes to mind when you look up and down the Expos lineup is speed right away, and here on the first play of the game you see it. That ball was hit very sharply to Larkin, his shortstop, and DeShields just outran it. Even if the throw had been on target, I think he'd have beat it out.
It's a slider for a strike on a held-up swing by Alou. We were talking about the cool weather and what it does to the hitter's hands. Randy Milligan, the Reds' first baseman, telling me before the game he was working on a swollen hand in batting practice. He mishit one today and paid the price.
These are the days when it's good to be a sinker ball pitcher that runs it in on those right-handers where they're pounding the ball off their foot. Ooh. Kind of put your glove in front of your face and chuckle a little bit as they dance around.
Oh, you pitchers are so nasty. So vindictive and vicious. Pitch out, and almost a pitch out over the plate. Joe Oliver reaching back in, but Delino DeShields going nowhere.
That goes back to what I said about Larry Rothschild keeping a tight rein on Jose Rio. Little concentration lapses have been a problem for Rio in his career. And there was supposed to be a pitch out. Joe Oliver wants the ball up near his right shoulder. Rio lets it drift back almost near the plate, low and inside.
Paradoxical, isn't it, how speed can slow down the game. Swing and a miss by Alou, and it's one ball, 2 strikes.
Well, you're breaking out all the big words on opening day. You got plethora and paradoxical in before the second hitter of the game.
Yeah, but the P part was the only part of the dictionary I read. Next week I'll work on another letter.
Maybe we'll start with the A's next week.
Well, that would make sense for most people. And again, a good slider, and Alou down on strikes, 1 away.
The slider is Jose Rio's out pitch. Larry Rothschild told me they worked with him to throw more fastballs just from an arm strength standpoint. Watch the bite on this one going down and away. When you're ahead in the count 1 and 2, you don't want to leave it over the plate. Great pitch.
1 out, 1 on for Marquise Grissom, the Expos center fielder. He will also steal his share, and there goes Delino DeShields in there. Larkin claiming he went off the bag, and then Larkin tagged him when he was off the bag, but second base umpire Jerry Davis says no.
Ordinarily, you'll see the runner start with 1 foot on the turf in just a straight steal situation. DeShields has good enough speed so he doesn't have to. He's in safe, and there's where Larkin says he get him before he gets back. I don't think so. I think he got his hand back.
46 out of 61 last year, 1 for 1 so far in 93.
I mentioned all the sliders from Rijo. Rothschild said last year in a 90-pitch effort, which is his typical game, he would only throw 12 to 16 fastballs.
And there's a strike to make it 2-1.
I'm sorry, but that gives me a sore elbow just talking about it.
And that's out of a normal start of maybe 90 to 100
He averaged
pitches.
about 90 pitches a start last year and would only throw 12 to 16 fastballs ordinarily.
Hard to believe. Blown away, 3-1 to Marquise Grissom.
Probably part of the reason that he spent some time on the DL with a sore elbow.
What do you think about the comments that were made about Fernando Valenzuela in his career and all the breaking pitches he threw? Fernando trying to come back. Lazy fly ball into left center. Kevin Mitchell over, calling but called off by center fielder Roberto Kelly. DeShields tagging and going to third with 2 out. Well, it's opening day, and these two guys were in different outfielders, different ball clubs last year.
And remember that Kevin Mitchell only played in a handful of spring training games because of the broken foot. So he didn't play too much in spring training, didn't have that much occasion to work together with Roberto Kelly. Kelly will be shading towards left field all season long to pick up for Mitchell's defensive lapses.
Well, here's a guy who has few lapses, Larry Walker, who is emerging as perhaps one of the next superstars of baseball. And they are pumped about him in Montreal as a Canadian native. And the numbers he's been able to put up in the last few years. Last year hitting over 300. A strike at the knees, 1-1. DeShields had an infield base hit, stole second, and is now at third with 2 out. No score, top of the first. 2 balls, 1 strike. Walker gets one high and away and fouls it off. 2-2.
You know, I have yet to talk to any baseball people that describe a weakness in Larry Walker's game. You talk about the big 5 things a baseball player has to do, and he does all 5 of them.
Plus, great work habits. But he takes a fastball right down the 2. Is left at third, 1 hit and 1.
Fastball, he'll turn it over and sink it. Outstanding curveball, like so many Dodger pitchers in the past, and a great straight changeup.
Well, already Orel Hershiser looks like Nolan Ryan as he blazes that one, but a little bit outside for ball 1. When we arrived at the park about 20 of 10 today, Scott Pose was hitting off a tee underneath the stands. Hit almost 400 this spring, and winning the center field job that was expected to go to Chuck Carr, a man much faster and a man who's a lot better fielder.
Well, this guy's a career .310 hitter in the minor leagues. Last year he won the batting title in Double-A, and he actually took the job away from Chuck Carr because of that solid hitting.
1-1 pitch. It's up high and outside for a ball. This was the one battle, if you will, for Rene Latchman, at least in a season of battles. Carr in spring training simply didn't get it done at the plate, and Pose was .397. Ground ball off the glove of Hershiser. Reed adjusts. Karros cannot come up with it, and your first base runner for the Florida Marlins, Scott Pose. Hit or error? Going to be close.
They gave him a hit.
You have to, don't you?
You bet. Hershiser gets a piece of this comebacker, tips it. Jody Reed goes to his right, and then he's off balance. His throw is in the dirt, and Karras can't dig it out.
Safe anyway if he digs it out, I believe.
Karras believes he would have had him, but I don't think that's...
Not 1 year. Because they're either rookies or, in some cases, players who have only played sparingly in their first year in the bigs. But not Dennis. He has been around, and one thing you have to say about Martinez, he knows how to pitch.
But he doesn't know where he is. He thinks he's still in West Palm Beach with the short sleeves. You kidding?
It's freezing out here. Dennis has no sleeves on. Bip Roberts leads it off. Roberts really has brought something extra to this ball club, something that the Reds really were in need of, a leadoff hitter and a guy who can really play second base. Breaking ball, popped foul and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Bip. Leon, his given name.
And he told me that BIP stands for one of 2 things, either body in pain or better in person.
I know what it would be in my case. Body in pain. A 2-strike pitch hoisted in the air to right field. Larry Walker drifts back, 1 away.
Defensively today for the Montreal Expos, one of the best outfields in baseball. All 3 with great speed. Very good arm in right field for Larry Walker. Grissom has just outstanding speed. The infield, a little bit more of a question mark. The corners are a great concern this year for the Expos. Greg Colburn went down with a bad elbow. He was expected to play some first base. Watch for Jack Clark to come back in a couple of weeks.
Roberto Kelly with the first hit for Cincinnati as he lines a single into left center. This is the way to start a new team in a new league.
He was the guy that all the players were talking about yesterday at the cage. He jumps on a slider that's down in the strike zone, but he reaches out and gets it. Got great speed. He can steal a base. He stole 140 bases in the 4+ years he was in New York. But the ball was jumping off his bat yesterday in BP.
And here's the leader of the Reds. I think most people in the ball club would feel that way about Barry Larkin. Batting with 1 out and 1 on, and a high fastball for strike 1.
Larkin and Bip Roberts and Roberto Kelly yesterday were kidding around saying, all right, here's what happens. If Bip gets on, then you got to bunt him to second so I can drive him in. He said, but if you get on, then you steal second and third so I can drive you in easy. And going back and forth with each other. They're getting along very well.
Kelly chased back. One of the things that the Reds players have talked about too is that with the suspension of owner Marge Schott and all the things that they went through in spring training, and then you go back to the previous years with the Pete Rose situation and all the things they've dealt with, Larkin for one said, gee, it's nice to be able to just play baseball for the first time in a long time.
They said that they had all the hullabaloo at one time early, and after it was over, you know, it was done. And that was the extent of it. Everybody could go about getting in shape, getting ready to get into the season, and they think they're very prepared.
1 strike to count. And there goes Kelly. The pitch a called strike, and the throw is high, but Kelly is out.
The Reds also have good speed, and you know that they were going to test Laker early. Kelly looked like he stood straight up and didn't get a terrific jump. As you said, the throw is high. Looks to me like he's in there safe. Changed hands on his slides as he slid by the bag. That may be where Jerry Davis said the tag is made. Watch how he changes hands sliding by.
Aha. He never did hit it with his left hand, or his right hand, I should say.
Had he gone with the right hand, he would have been safe.
Yep. Good call by Jerry Davis. 2 out of the inning, and the count 1 ball 2 strikes to Larkin. He turns on an inside pitch, and Moises Alou comes in to end the inning. 1 hit and nobody left in the first inning for the Reds. We have played 1. No score in Cincinnati. Reds no score here in Cincinnati. And Mitchell coming from Seattle, happy to be back in the National League as he takes a high fastball for a ball. Dennis Martinez gave up an infield hit, or no, a single to left center actually in the first inning, but Roberto Kelly was caught stealing. Mitchell hits one in the air to right. Walker drifting over toward the line as Mitchell played over toward right center. One away. Didn't you tell me that Kevin was going the other way in batting practice yesterday?
All day yesterday. Every swing he took, he was trying to hit the ball to right. He said that's what he's got to do against Martinez, and he's got 5 home runs off him, so something he does works.
Chris Sabo, the hitter, with 1 out, nobody on. They call him Spuds with those trademark goggles. Ball 1.
Yeah, he looks like a third baseman, doesn't he?
Well, does that mean that we're going to have to stand he and Frank Bullock next to each other, see who looks more like a third baseman? Good breaking ball from Martinez, 1-1. It doesn't seem that many years ago that Sabo was a rookie and everybody was talking about how he's going to take over that position and all the guys who had played there before, and here he is being a veteran fixture now on a club that has gone through a lot of evolutions since he first came aboard. 2-1.
He is also one of 3 remaining veteran free agents that are left, and Jim Bowden has been quoted as saying he didn't think he could keep all 4 of them. Well, they've signed Rijo. They still have Sabo, Belcher, and Roberts left, and they have to make some kind of move.
Fastball right down the pipe, and it is hit a ton to left center field. Out of here. Starts the new year in a big way. It's 1-0 Cincinnati here in the bottom of the second.
Sabo's using a Kevin Mitchell bat. He said that he feels strong and he thinks he can wheel it. It's a 35-inch, 35-ounce bat. He said particularly early in the season, he's been able to get it around. It's got a big old head on it, and you see the head there. He gets the head out on a 2-1 fastball. Drills it about 390 to left center.
I think he'll keep using it. They passed the first test. Into the corner by Randy Milligan. An easy double as they had Milligan shaded over towards center field. And Milligan is pumped. Talking to Randy in the clubhouse this morning, and he is excited about the opportunity to come back to the National League and to play for the Reds, who he feels should, can, and will, at this point in the early season, win it this year in spite of how good a team Atlanta has.
And again, give credit to the youngest general manager in baseball, Jim Bowden, for picking up a veteran first baseman that they have to use right away because of Hal Morris' injury.
Reggie Sanders, the hitter, 1 out. Milligan at second, and a run in on Sabo's home run. Another guy with some talent. Breaking ball down low, 2-0.
Outfield defense was a problem for the Reds that last year. Moving Reggie Sanders to right field full time, bringing Roberto Kelly, who is a very good center fielder, in that will anchor the defense, makes you be able to pick up Kevin Mitchell in left field a little bit, who has some shortcomings, obviously, defensively. But it's going to be a strong suit for the Reds this year, rather than being a weakness as it was last year.
And playing in this sizable ballpark, an artificial surface, outfield speed can be at a premium. It's not like St. Louis with those dimensions, but it's fast on this carpet.
This has been one of the best hitting ballparks in the National League in recent years.
A strike to Sanders. 2 balls, 1 strike. Still only 1 out. it gets through the legs of Laker. Milligan will go to third. That ball came back, it looked a little.
Well, Steve Laker is making the jump from Double-A to the big leagues. Dennis dropped down on it a little bit, and you saw that Laker had his weight shifted towards the hitter just a little. I think the angle that Martinez came at with the breaking ball fooled Laker a little bit because he dropped down sidearm, and instinctively Laker started shifting over, and then the ball broke around to his right.
3-1 with one out, and Milligan now at third on the pass ball. Oh, it's officially scored a wild pitch. And a breaking ball right in there. 3-2.
Probably rightly so a wild pitch because it was in the dirt, but that was a very blockable ball, and it's something that Laker does well. He does work very well in the dirt.
Now Dennis took too much time, and Sanders asked for time, stepped out. I think Dennis is a little upset because it might have been a little too late in his thinking for Sanders to be granted time, but Terry Tata, the home plate umpire, allowed it. Felipe Alou, one of the historic three Alou brothers who once back in 1963 were in the same outfield for the San Francisco Giants in the same game. The strike called on a corner. Sanders doesn't think so, but he is gone. 2 away.
Backdoor fastball. Watch the movement on this. It starts about 8 or 10 inches outside home plate and then comes back near the outside corner.
I'm glad you said near the outside corner. Of course, Laker was set up right there, and Martinez hit the target. Here's Joe Oliver, a pitch out, and they're going to put Oliver on because Jose Rijo is up next.
Of course, Rio will tell you that that's a bad move, that he's a good hitter. He's got a big league home run, and
like most pitchers. Pitchers seem to want to talk more about their hitting. Most pitchers, starters especially.
I never wanted to talk about me, but I never wanted to talk about my pitching either. So.
Well, Jose will have his chance as Joe Oliver will trot to first and third with 2 out. Reds leading 1-0 here in the second inning on Chris Sabo's 1-out home run. Andy Milligan at third. That intentional pass, the first walk issued by Dennis Martinez. Laker did a good job on that breaking ball in the dirt. 1-0.
Dennis Martinez has one of the best curveballs in the National League, and in a situation where you intentionally walk the catcher to get to the pitcher, you know that he's not going to give him too good a fastball to hit early in the count.
And he didn't give him a fastball there either.
Okay, you didn't bite on my curveball. Well, try this slider out then.
Milligan at third and Oliver at first. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Ooh. Blasted one over the outside corner, 1-2. I think Jose's probably going to remember this when Dennis comes up to bat. This is some nasty stuff. But you got to do this. I mean, you can't ease up on the pitcher.
Fastball again.
Just a little outside. Jose says, I'm going to go get my glove now. Thank you.
He says, I want that one when I'm pitching. I'll give it to him. You psych the umpire a little bit and say, hey, it was a strike, so remember that when I pitch. Now, and he's trying not to laugh, too. Hammer.
He wanted him to go swinging after that, but Jose has not taken a cut. 3-2, 2 out, runners at first and third.
Hasn't taken a cut, but it's been a good at bat.
Well, now Dennis is probably just going to have to rear back and fire it right in there. He does, and the inning is over. Chris Sabo scores the first run of the new season for the Reds on a long home run to left center. 1-0 Cincinnati.
Last season, Walt Weiss, just a .212 average, but Weiss is the kind of guy that Lassman wants to have around. Not real flashy, but he does a lot of things that can help you win ball games. Solid defensive player, handles the bat very well.
And whips in. Fair ball down the line. Rounding third is Santiago. He'll score. Here comes Toron to the plate. The relay. No throw. 2-0 Florida. Walt Weiss triple down the line at 2:43. The Marlins lead.
A breaking ball has stayed out over the plate, and he hammered it just inside the line down the right field line. Watch him pick up the coach. Now Santiago comes in to score. Jeff Conine's right behind him. And Walt Weiss has a 2-run triple, and the Marlins have their first lead.
There you go. Just like they scripted it. Well, they haven't scripted a plate appearance for Charlie Huff since he was a Dodger the first half of the 1980 season. Now, back to Steve Zabriskie.
Thank you, Chris. Boy, I'll tell you what, those were two well-struck balls off of Sutcliffe.
He had a better day opening day last year.
We were there, and he won. But,
Different president throughout the first pitch last
that
year.
could have something to do with it. I think it might be also that the Texas Rangers lineup has got some power.
Oh, and the Indians didn't last year?
Tim Laker, the hitter, the Montreal catcher, leading off the third inning with Cincinnati leading 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tim, who is the 4th different catcher on opening day over the last 4 years for Montreal. And he'd like to maybe be a regular there opening days to come. But one of the many question marks for the Expos among this youthful lineup. Good pitch. Inez has allowed a run on 3 hits through the first 2 innings. Jose Rijo has allowed no runs and just 2 hits. Leadoff hitter Bip Roberts will lead off the third. He flied out to right field in the bottom of the first inning. Breaking ball low and inside, ball 1.
Bip has had pretty good luck against Dennis Martinez, hitting .469 lifetime. He said he likes to throw that slider in on my hands, and I might try to turn on one.
Up high, 2-0. Well, when you're Bip size, turning on one has a different connotation. A little bit low. 3-0. Dennis wanted that one. I'll be thinking, how can you be low to Bip Roberts?
You got to go some.
His knees are down there. 3-0, however.
Dennis has had a 3-ball count on the last 4 hitters that he's faced. He's a guy that likes to pitch ahead to get him to chase pitches.
That one's right in there. 3-1.
Especially that curveball. You know,
Yeah.
He likes to pitch ahead and then bounce his curveball. Get guys swinging at balls in the dirt.
A strike on the outside corner at the knees. 3-2. Tough for any pitcher to pitch from behind, but guys who have overpowering stuff can often come back and compensate. Martinez, while having a good fastball, is not overpowering. Roberts grounds into second. Delino DeShields with an easy play, one away in the third. One of the things that has kept the Reds from really challenging and winning their division has been injuries. And in talking to Tony Perez this morning in the clubhouse, Larry, that's the number one thing he says they need to do. He feels like everything else is in place for them to not only contend but win it. But of course, injuries are the one thing that you can't control. Roberto Kelly skies one on the right side in foul territory. Vanderwall can't reach it. Strike one.
Particularly injuries to their pitching staff, and to take it even a little bit further, an injury to Rob Dibble would hurt this club a lot. Middle relief is an area that they aren't entirely certain of. Larry Rothschild thinks they have good people down there, and Jeff Reardon is the first name that comes to mind. Foster is another kid that they're looking to that has great stuff, and they think will be a good setup man. But they still have some question marks in their bullpen. They'd like to pick up another left-hander to go in the middle.
Too tight, 1-1.
And did you see Jeff Reardon without his beard?
Yes, I did, and I must say that it is an unusual sight. I'm not saying anything against how he looks. It's just that after knowing the guy for so many years and never having seen him without it before, it takes you aback at first.
Yes, you would walk right by him in the hallway.
Absolutely. And it wasn't, you know, I mean, he always had the full beard, though. It wasn't like you shave off your mustache or something like that. Sawed off to third. Going to get it is Frank Bullock, and going to get the head of the bat is Will Cordero, because it's all the way out by shortstop. We talked about injuries. Here's what happened to Barry Larkin last year, and of course he's another guy they cannot afford to lose. Horrible collision in foul territory here in Cincinnati. Glenn Bragg's being a rather large individual, you knew Larkin was going to get the worst of that deal, and he did. And that's the kind of thing that the Reds and most teams, rightly, cannot overcome usually.
Braggs is not a guy that you want to run into, and it took a while for Larkin to overcome that. He changed his batting stroke because he said he couldn't turn on his knee the way that he wanted to. It's 100% now. He'll have another good year.
Larkin takes high and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Barry flied out to shallow left to end the first inning. Too low. 3-0, and Martinez with a 3-ball count yet again.
That'd make it pretty much 5 out of 6, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Larkin on a 3-0 pitch lofts it to center field. Marquise Grissom with the easy catch, and an easy inning for Martinez as the Reds go 1-2-3. Cincinnati still leads it, however, 1-0 after 3.
Long time with the Pirates. Came down here to get this franchise going, and certainly got it going. He will be. MLB Stadium. We'll be back.
Bottom of the 4th for the Reds. Cincinnati leading 1-0, and Mitchell takes the fastball for a strike. Mitch appears to us to be a little larger than he was at the end of last season.
Must be because he has the bad foot. He didn't get as much running in Florida as usual.
Well, I don't know how much running that would entail, but I'll tell you what, he is a big man.
Strong person. Kind of easy to figure out why that foot was broken. He did get a cortisone shot in his broken foot, his fractured foot, about a week ago, and they expect it to last about 6 weeks. And obviously he's in a considerable amount of pain, and it's something that they're very nervous about, that it would be a problem for him all year long.
Fouls this one off. The count now 2-2. Mitch, when he came up with the Mets, they gave him the nickname 747 because he had a wide body.
Is there anything bigger than a 747?
I'm trying to think if we go to C5A now, maybe. I don't know. Slapped on the ground to second. The Shields throws him out. One away in the fourth. And that brings up Chris Sabo, who has produced the only run of the year so far for these two teams. And will have the distinction of the first home run of 1993 for Cincinnati. A long shot to left center that has given the Reds their 1-0 lead. The fastball popped up, drifting out of play behind the Reds dugout. One out in the second inning, and this is the pitch Sabo got that big log around and took it out of here.
Fastball down the middle. He got good extension and good follow through, which means he had very good bat speed. With a log like that, you need to start it early and be strong.
One out, nobody on. Base hit, right field. Sabo goes the other way this time. Let's check in with Chris Myers in the studio.
Hi, Stephen. Miami first runs ever for the expansion Marlins. Second inning, Walt Weiss facing Oral Hershiser, and he laces a triple down the right field line. Benito Santiago scores the Marlins' first run. Later had an RBI. Conine scores as well. Charlie Huff has that lead. Please.
Thanks, Chris. I'll tell you what, I really am impartial. Even though I live in Florida, I'm not, rooting or anything, but I'm so happy for Charlie Huff. That has more to do with age than location.
I feel good for any old guy that hangs on and gets a couple of more years. I was thinking about coming out of retirement, but
hey, it's a good year for it.
I really believe both clubs, both expansion clubs, are going to surprise a lot of people. The Rockies had, I believe, the best record of any expansion team in history in spring training, and I think both clubs are going to do much better than people anticipate.
Good play by Laker, who had a ball get between his legs earlier, blocks this one. 2 balls the count to Randy Milligan. Sabo at first with 1 out. Well, you may be right. I think that the problem, well, it's going to be difficult on both clubs because of, I think, the stadiums in which they're playing. Mile High Stadium is an unusual place because of the altitude and the configuration. Miami's Joe Robbie Stadium is a beautiful place, but in Florida in the summertime it rains almost every afternoon. It's going to be very disruptive. They are going to have to put up with heat and humidity come June, July, and August, which is going to make their home games tough, and it's always difficult for expansion teams to win on the road and to learn how to do that. So I don't know, it's going to be tough. It always is tough when expansion, however infrequent, comes about.
I'm going to say, though, and go ahead, write it down. No expansion team has ever won more than 70 games, and I think one of those two will this year.
All right. We'll check with you later. Milligan punching one out of play into about the 3rd row. Sabo back to first. 2 balls, 2 strikes now, so Moose is going to check out third base coach Dave Bristol. Because the same play may now not be on. Sabo not running, and Milligan fouls it off. Still 2-2.
Good to see Dave Bristol back in a Reds uniform. One of the new coaches, Ron Oster over at first base, another one of the new coaches.
Both have a lot of history with the Reds. And here are new faces, new names to go with the new faces. Another thing the Reds have done, they've shored up that bench with guys like Samuel and Varsho, as well as the starting lineup. And of course Cecil Espy been phenomenal coming off the bench for Pittsburgh.
Again, credit to Jim Bowden. Brings in veterans to sit on the bench. You can tell it's a club in contention.
Still 2-2 to Randy Milligan. Backdoored him on the outside corner. Milligan has a few words for Terry Tata, but he is gone for out number 2.
The words to Terry Tata should have been, this was a heck of a pitch, wasn't it? Because it was. It does catch that outside corner. It's just about knee high. Your best bet is to take it because you sure can't hit it.
Perfect pitch.
That's what they look like.
So that's what they look like. Third strikeout for Martinez, and Reggie Sanders, the hitter. A ball. Sanders looked at a called third strike in the second inning. Sabo, the runner at first, now with 2 out. Oh, nasty breaking ball. 1-1.
Again, just a little bit of Laredo dropping down just a tad to freeze the hitter's hips. He'll do that to the right-handers to try to get the right-hand hitter to lock his hips up just a little bit.
Line to foul. That one up in the strike zone. Sanders jumped all over it, but way out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, I think they ought to leave the banners and the bunting of opening day up all year long. I mean, that's part of the game, isn't it?
Opening day it is.
I know, but I mean, shouldn't it be every day? You know, red, white, and blue.
Reminds you of the old newsreels, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, you could look back on the highlights and have the excitement of every game being like postseason play. Never mind. It was just a passing thought.
I think Reggie Sanders is going to have a terrific year for the Reds this year. Got hurt last year. He was off to a pretty good start. Got hurt. He had a year to sit around and study guys, and he had a taste of it. I'm really looking for some good numbers from him, as are the Reds. Very talented young man.
Yep, he is.
Great speed, good arm.
Pitch out. They got Sabo hung up, but he gets back. Laker threw to second base, and Sabo put the brakes on and scampered back to first.
One of the reasons that Felipe feels good about Laker is because he was with him in West Palm Beach, and Felipe will put a lot of signs on from the bench. So you'll see Laker constantly looking into the dugout, picking up the different signs, pitch out, throw over to first, doing all the different things.
Now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out. Sanders late, down on strikes, and the inning is over. 1 hit and 1 left in the 4th, but the Reds still lead.
We feel the best way to advertise a car like Mercury.
We don't buy that one bit. Get some snow in Connecticut. You know, we're still shoveling out, my man. Snow flurries Saturday morning. Eric Davis fouls it back. Davis doubled his first time up, but then was thrown out by Junior Felix. The ball he had to hold up on looked like Felix would catch it, didn't, but Felix's foot stopped it, and then he gunned him to third base. Eric Davis and Darryl Strawberry last year played in only 31 games together. Strikeout by Huff. That's his 4th this afternoon.
And he's in good command of it all.
Yet to see a pitch. Roberts does not go. Ball one. Grounded to third. Bullock not in time. Roberto Kelly beats it out, and the Reds have runners at first and second.
Just sheer speed on the part of Roberto Kelly. A good sinker down and in. Bullock does everything he possibly can. Makes a strong throw. Got it out of his glove quickly. Kelly just outran the baseball.
From the right side of the plate, no less.
Well, in trips, maybe you get somebody in the big leagues. They outrun.
Oh. Welcome to the big leagues and real speed. Kelly legs it out. Roberts down at second. And Barry Larkin, the hitter, with 2 out. Hit number 5 for the Reds. Larkin has hit 2 soft fly balls, 1 to left and 1 to center. He's 0 for 2. And now Martinez and Blaker struggling to get together.
Well, they only played together for 6 weeks. Felipe Luxana says, guys, you know, you played catch with each other for 6 weeks. You pitched in 6 ball games. It's the second sign with a man on second, okay?
Well, that's usually the problem when you see a runner at second. It's usually the series, the sequence that they're discussing. Ball one.
But better to call timeout and go out and straighten it out. Make sure that you're thinking the same way than to have a mix-up that puts runners at second, third, and if Larkin gets a hit, drives in 2 instead of 1.
Inside, 2-0. One more thing you should know about Dennis Martinez. He is a competitor. Right now, and for the last couple of innings, he has battled himself a little bit. Three and 0, and he's still struggling. Bip Roberts at second, Roberto Kelly at first. Speed on the bases for Cincinnati. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. Joe Kerrigan is the pitching coach for Montreal, and he may be a few seconds away from striding out. I don't know.
Well, a day like today, it takes your bullpen a little longer to get going because you've got 2 or 3 layers worth of clothing to get rid of. So Kerrigan's got him up and going now. Kevin Mitchell is not a guy that Martinez likes to face in any situation. Lifetime, he's hitting .320. He's 8 for 25 off him with 5 home runs. So he's done some damage to Dennis Martinez in his career. Brian Barnes, a left-hander, is heading down to the bullpen to warm up for the Expos.
Mitchell, ground ball, flag down. Will he get him? No, safe. Mitchell beat it out. Kevin Mitchell, extra weight, broken foot, and all beats this ball out.
Little sidearm slider. it stays over the plate. Great play by Bolin to knock that ball down and come up through, and he makes a strong throw. Mitch hustling it, bang, bang, but he does beat it, and then it's a little bit awkward after he hits the bag. Broke the guard that he had on his left foot. He continuously pounds balls off that left ankle, so he wears the extra shin guard, the little black shin guard.
It's a base hit and an RBI for Mitchell. It's 2-0 Cincinnati. Bases are still loaded for Chris Sabo. Outside, ball 1. Well, you're not really shocked when Roberto Kelly maybe beats one out, although it didn't seem like a routine play that you would get an infield hit. But when Kevin Mitchell does it, that'll turn your head. Sabo pops it up down the left field line. Moises Alou with the easy play, and the inning is finally over. But Cincinnati adds to their lead on Mitchell's hustle.